Hello, you guys, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel. So, I really wasn't going to make this video because Blaire White is actually somebody that I've always watched and somebody that I've supported for a really, really long time. But as of last night, after watching her last video about, I think her name is Janae, I was like, I can't support this person anymore. I honestly can't. So I just want to go into why I decided to unsubscribe from Blaire White's channel. So let me just paint a picture. I was fascinated by Blaire's story since I watched her video about her facial feminization surgery. You know, she's very vulnerable, and there was just something about her that I really, really liked. Now, I really enjoyed the fact that Blaire was somebody who seemed to not shy away from controversial topics. I mean, her channel, by and large, focuses on politics. But I started noticing, I don't know, like a trend with her videos. In that, yes, you know, she would talk about people within the trans community that were predatory, you know, the Jessica Yanives. She would talk about just things in the trans community that made little to no sense. And, you know, she would bring this stuff out and she would highlight these things. But I noticed a trend. Yes, Blaire is conservative. I'm well aware that Blaire is conservative and she has every right to be conservative. There is a space for conservative voices within the trans community. However, Blaire really is she strikes me as the type of trans woman that sees herself as better than other trans women that don't look like her. And what I mean by trans women that don't look like her, I mean trans girls who haven't had surgery, haven't had hormones, are not as attractive as what she is. If you ever watch her videos and she's talking about embarrassing TikTokers, embarrassing trans TikTokers, or gender nonconforming people, Blaire goes in on their physical appearance. She bats her eyelids and she flips her hair and she makes these little comments. And she attacks people based on how they look, based on where they are in transition. And she does it in a way that lets you know, not in so many words, but that lets you know that she sees herself as being different. And by different, she sees herself as being superior than those other trans girls. Tell me the lie. Blaire really thinks that she thinks she's better, and she thinks, I hate to say it, but she really does think that she's something special. Now, Blaire goes out of her way in her videos to other trans women and trans people that don't necessarily pass, that don't meet society's expectations of what a trans man or woman should be. Now, my issue with that is we're not all going to transition the same. And we're not all going to have necessary funds or the means that allow us to transition in the way that we would want. But is that an excuse for somebody to make fun of you? Is that an excuse for somebody in the trans community to ridicule you and to put your picture up on social media? No, it's not an excuse. There are lots of people that are gender nonconforming, that are trans, that may not necessarily be as attractive as the Blaire Whites or the Eden the Dolls or the Gigi Gorgeouses, but it doesn't make them less worthy. It doesn't make them less worthy of respect, and it doesn't mean that they need to be ridiculed within the trans community. The one thing I really hate about Blaire's content is that she normalizes the harassment and the bullying of trans women. And what I mean by that is she made a video of embarrassing trans TikTokers, and she put a picture of this trans person on there. And, you know, she went through all these different trans people and ridiculed them. Now, we don't see behind the scenes. We don't know what that person is going through. We don't know the level of harassment that person is getting and experiencing. The trans community is so vulnerable. We have one of the highest suicide rates out of any other demographic. And yes, it is important to sort of highlight issues within the trans community, and it's important to highlight people that are predatory and people that are hurting society and to have a conversation about these things. But when you cross the line and you move into bullying and harassing people, that's where I have to sort of step back and say, Blaire, I'm not about this life. There are so many trans-related topics that Blaire could talk about, but her content seems to solely focus on attacking trans people as though she is not trans herself. And to be honest, Blaire, if you watch her videos, you can definitely tell that Blaire is one of those trans girls where if she were not trans, if she were a genetically born female, baby girl, she would hate us. She would have the worst to say about us. Or if she was just a cisgender man, she would be hella transphobic. Her transitioning did not stop her from being transphobic. She still is. I mean, and this is somebody who talks about trans politics, and you would think that somebody who talks about trans politics and trans issues, that she would also highlight some of the other issues that trans people face, such as harassment in the workplace, bullying, such as the murder rates within the trans community. No, she doesn't. Her channel is almost solely focused on making fun of trans people. Case in point, she made a video about Janae, this bodybuilder who was forced out of the closet, and by Janae, I think that's how you say her name, but by Janae's own admission, Janae does not compete against genetically born females. She said that, she stated that, she has never competed against genetically born females. And then you have Blaire. Then you have Blaire using clickbait, making fun of this woman, calling her appearance outlandish. And the one thing that annoys me about Blaire, when she makes fun of people, is her face will be beat, she'll be flipping her hair, she'll be batting her eyelids, she'll speak very condescending about the person's appearance, and she does the most. And, she had this title that was very clickbaity, that was like, I compete in women's sports, get over it, or something like that. And she went in criticizing this woman, criticizing her on something that she didn't even say, spreading false information about some poor woman, putting her picture out there. We don't know the type of harassment that Janae faced after Blaire made her video, but do you think Blaire White cares? No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. If you go on her last video, well, her last video as of today, you'll see that in that video that she made of Janae, all of the comments are literally saying the same thing, that Blaire, you're spreading false information, you're lying, why are you saying this about this woman? And Blaire has not issued an apology, she has not made a video, she hasn't said anything. And this is somebody who is so quick to criticize the trans community. She's so quick to jump up and talk about everything that we're doing wrong and the fact that these trans people look ugly and ridiculous and whatnot. Watch her videos. That is the message that she sends. And after that video, I was just kind of like, I can't support somebody who's like this. I can't support somebody who bullies people in my community. I honestly can't. Look, I'm not telling people to unsubscribe from Blaire White. I'm just adding my own 2 cents just from what I've seen of Blaire White. And I'm good. I am so good. I'm so good. But I sometimes feel like a lot of these Hollywood type white LGBT are kind of like that. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like the Hollywood types are like that. You know what I mean? But anyways, and I was so disappointed that this person didn't issue an apology, because Blaire is so quick to talk. She's so quick to criticize people. The minute she's in the wrong, quiet. And because of that, I have to unsubscribe. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. Just remember that you are beautiful. And where you are in transition is where you're supposed to be. I love you. I thank you for watching my videos. I love the support. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.